Dionisio at the plate. He's 0 for 2 today. Swakowski, the big right-hander, lets it go. It's right down Broadway. Dionisio lets it fly, and it's raining now.
It's time for Rain Delay Theater with Jeremy Dionisio and Jack Swakowski.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Rain Delay Theater, the show where two bums talk about other bums at baseball games. I'm Jeremy Dionisio.
And I'm Jack Swakowski.
This is episode number 320, and we are here to recap the June 5th drubbing by the San Francisco Giants over the Cubs at Wrigley Field. Just another another insult in the book of the Cubs of late for this season. So we were on hand for that debacle for a Cubs fan, at least. Jack was silently loving it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that's the game we were at, the stinker, the 18-3 stinker.
Yeah. So yeah, not a very good game. Some good graphing beforehand, which we'll get to in a moment. So that was a good silver lining. But yeah, Jeremy, I think you wanted to say a little bit about Stacey King, who passed away. I think it was yesterday, right?
Yeah, it was announced yesterday, or, it broke yesterday. Man, I was just like really bummed about it, Jack. I don't know. Do you ever get a chance to watch any Bulls broadcasts?
So I will say, I understand the sentiment. No, I don't really watch Bulls games, both just because I haven't followed the NBA in a long time, but also because I just don't I don't have cable. So it's not really and haven't really since I've come to Chicago. So I don't get like Chicago Sportsnet or whatever they're on. But that being said, coming from Milwaukee, we have a lot of just announcers who do games for all of the teams. So it's always sad when a local legend like that passes away.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous. Like 59 years old, just like like with these announcers, like a Pat Hughes or something, like,
Yep.
You get to kind of, like, I don't know, I guess Harry Carey died like unexpectedly too, but like different story, but like, yeah, so young for Stacey King. And like, normally, like when a announcer leaves, you kind of maybe know it, or you kind of sense it or something. And like, so yeah, you just was not expecting that at all. I don't, to be honest, I don't watch every single Bulls game, but like I watch when they're doing good, and like so many, he's been doing it for like a long time at this point, since Johnny Red Kerr died, I think. And just like there's so many funny like sound bites that I have in my memory bank of Stacey King. So it's a real bummer, and he was a funny guy. It's just crazy that it happened like, the way it did. So it was a bummer. There's a graphing connection into this as well, which is he did a show in 2023, a local card show, and I went to it and I got his autograph, and I'm glad I did at the time, now. But he was super cool. I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast, but his like kind of catchphrase is like, "Give me the hot sauce," when he like someone gets like a 3-pointer or whatever. And I just got his card signed, and I was saying I just got the autograph, not an inscription, and I said like, yeah, Stacey, I love the hot sauce stuff, And he's like, you want me to put that on the card? And I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. And so he did. He wrote like, "Give me the hot sauce."
Nice.
On the autograph. And so like, yeah, it's super cherished now, given the situation. So yeah, he was a really cool guy, by all accounts, a really nice guy. And so like, yeah, it's a bummer. So just wanted to
for
mention
sure, man.
that.
And some guys, they'll try to like squeeze you for that inscription, but it sounds like he was only too happy to do it.
Yeah, most definitely. So yeah, he was cool. He was enjoying himself, and so it was. It's a bummer. So I'm glad I got to have an interaction with him at least. So yeah, that's a bummer. A bigger bummer than the Cubs of late, but it's just been a rough stretch in general. So I will say, Jack, just transitioning over to the Cubs talk. As a Cubs fan, when I go to a game and the Cubs completely get their ass handed to them, I at least appreciate when the team is a good signer
Sure.
to kind of balance that out. So like I was as disgusted as I was about the Cubs, like I was on cloud nine with the total like autograph haul from this game.
Yeah, that was great, Jeremy. And you'll go through like you'll sort of ebb and flow during a game if the Cubs are playing bad. Like there'll be like maybe a half inning or so where you're just in a really black mood, and then like eventually you'll just come to terms with the fact that the Cubs are going to lose today, and it sort of passes. But yeah, I agree. I was not expecting the Giants to be a good signing team either, just because historically we've done them a couple times and that hasn't been the case. So that was a really nice surprise. I got in a little bit after you and Dennis, because you and Dennis were right at the front of the line. I rolled up probably about 11:45 a.m., so I was a little bit back there, but I don't think I actually missed out on any action. And yeah, we got right down the line, and there were a ton of pitchers throwing. I don't think they were doing BP. They were not, because it had rained earlier that day, and there was still a tarp on the field, and the game would actually start in an hour-long delay. It started at 2:20 exactly. So yeah, tons of pitchers throwing in the field, in the outfield there, which hadn't been the case the last few times we graphed, and so we just kind of started to feast right away.
Yeah, most definitely. I guess I should say too, before we got in there, Jack, we didn't really talk about it too much, and I didn't really have it on the notes, but I was in line with Dennis. Yes, Josh was also in front of me in line.
Yep.
And Josh's new friends, which I guess we'll talk about in a minute, joined him in line. But it was I don't know if, I guess you have had this experience. You've been in a trio with Dennis and Josh before, haven't you?
Oh yes, I have. Yeah.
Yeah. It is it's just like surreal to kind of experience because like Dennis was talking to Josh like they were like equals, and it was just so, I mean, on one hand I appreciate that when adults talk to children like they're like equals, although like I think you can maybe go too far for sure, like but like you don't have to talk to them like they're like little babies or something, but like Dennis was it's like I don't know, like he was saying stuff to Josh that he would say to like us or whatever. He's like, yeah, they've been bad signers, they're bad, whatever, and like these guys, they don't sign, and like Josh was like yeah I don't know, do you think whatever, do you think Buster Posey will sign or something, like just like typical Josh stuff.
Yeah, right.
Dennis was getting into more political talk with the Cubs staff at the front gate, which I won't get into that either. But I will say that Josh was looking at his phone when it was the three of us, and he saw the news that the Bears posted about them pursuing a stadium in Hammond. Like that broke while we were in line. Sure. And like Dennis was like, he's like, well, that's, I'm not happy about that. I'm a season ticket holder. And like Josh was like, yeah, are you sad that they're moving? And like, whatever. And like, it was just a ridiculous thing. And that's how the political thing got going with Dennis and the ushers. But yeah.
Oh, sure.
So that was a whole weird experience in and of itself. But yeah, we did get into the stadium, and yeah, Josh was there with us for a little bit and his friends. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just all the pitchers were out there throwing maybe like there was like a couple starters that weren't out there, but like it almost seemed it was definitely like 95% of the whole pitching staff.
Yeah, it was really good, and so I can't remember the first guy we got. It may have been Sam Hentges, but is it Hentges or Hentges?
It's emphasis on the jizz part, I guess.
That would be a Dennis joke. Like Schneeman is called semen. The reason I think that is because Pat Hentgen, I think that's how he pronounced his name. Yeah. So that's always what I've thought of when I've thought of Sam Hentges or whatever.
It's henches, like henchman, like it's
okay.
Like it's weird, like because it's spelled Hentges. But like, yeah, it's henches, I think.
Okay, nice. Well, yeah, He was cool. We called for him, and he said he had to finish some work, but he eventually came over and signed. We got him. He's got a nice-looking autograph, too, so he was super cool. One other guy that we asked was Tony Vitello, the manager. So, Jeremy, I know you had a custom for him. I did the same thing I did with Blake Butera, where I bought like a $7, $8 card, which is an expensive card to buy, but I wanted to get him on something. And so we had seen him kind of down. He was sort of down by the infield a little bit onto the grass, talking to, some coaches and some pitchers. We called for him, and he was like, yeah, I'll come over in a second. So we were like, cool, seems like we're going to get him. So then Logan Webb comes over and starts to sign for people. Now this was, there was kind of that moment of graphing, nervousness, because we were down the line closer to the infield, and Webb started away from us, closer to the foul pole. Yep. And, usually when a guy does that, it's because he's signing for kids first, and that's always a bad thing, because when a guy does that and he starts over there, kids will just start to pile on. It's like the fishes and the loaves. It just doesn't end. He'll never finish over there, which means that he's not going to drift over to you. He's just going to stop signing at some point. So Dennis, who was more towards the foul pole than us, did like his finishing move if it was Mortal Kombat, and he leaned 3/4 of the way over the railing and like leaned into these kids as well. Like he must have like pushed some of the kids aside and like stretched his arm out with the book as far as it would go, like pretty aggressively, because he knew like that's what it may take to get Webb. And then you kind of because he went in more, you went in more, and then I think I went in more too. And we luckily got him, but it looked like one of those things where the way it was playing out, I could see that maybe we wouldn't have gotten Webb, but we ended up getting him.
Yeah, it was like Dennis did a full I'll quote like a wrestler more of my time, like Jimmy Snuka, jump off the top rope, like full body, like like a Jeff or Matt Hardy, I would say too.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. It was an elbow off the top rope, for sure. But that was wild too. So we both got him. I had made the comment to you, Jeremy, that we've asked Webb several times at the bus, and he's never shown any interest in interacting or signing. No. So I brought a heritage card of his, and I'm happy with what I got. But I had a heritage card that maybe looked a little bit cleaner for Webb, but I was like, I'm just gonna take the one that I already have pulled. I don't, just because I was lazy, because I figured there was no chance I would get him, and I got him.
Yeah, I mean, kind of similar thing. Like I am happy with my card, and I think it maybe is the right choice. But I have like 3 or 4 of his cards like in my giant stack that just were kicking around, and I think at one point I had 2 of them in there, and I'm like, I'm never gonna get this guy once, let alone twice. So why even bother? And I had to put these cards together. I was on vacation for like a week too, which this was like the next day back, and I had to make these. I had to like get all my cards together before I left on my trip. So I just like grabbed one of each guy. I didn't even like get guys who I had already gotten. I didn't pull guys who I had already gotten just because there was no time. So yeah, it was tough. Like but yeah, it worked out. It was crazy that we got him. That's a pretty nice get.
It is.
So the funny thing about it was after like he signed for me, and I think he was maybe in the process of signing for you, and I look over behind Webb, and Tony Vitello is walking straight at us. Like,
yes,
it was almost like the T1000 or something, like walking right at us. I'm like, oh shit, he's coming over here, and I had to like flip, and I didn't want to. I've had a lot of autograph faux pas this season, and I didn't want to smear the Webb card, and I definitely had it on a different page, so I had to get my shit together like quick, like for the Vitello card, and I was a little worried that whatever, like either he was going to turn away or like I'd have to like skip Webb to get Vitello or something, but like the timing was like absolutely mint. It was like perfect that Webb passed the both of us, and Vitello came right over to us and got us. So that was awesome. It was another rookie manager signing during BP, which is in the outfield, which is very odd.
Yes, it is. Like you said, Jeremy, we gotta start telling these rookie managers not to sign for us. Like in the outfield, like they either do it at the bus or not at all. So that was a stroke of good luck. But I had a similar thing happen to me because I was still getting Webb as Vitello came over. And so I had to, first of all, I kind of half-heartedly yelled, I got you right here, Tony, because I was afraid that he was gonna walk away, but I didn't have enough time to cap my marker before I flipped the page to him. So I was worried that the Dave Clark thing was going to happen from the first time I ever used my autograph book. It was the same thing happened. Clark was signing for me as Yordan Alvarez came over. I tried to flip the page too fast, didn't cover my marker, dinged up my Dave Clark card, and didn't get Yordan Alvarez. So it's like, it didn't happen. My Logan Webb card, by the grace of God, came out okay, but it was still, I must have PTSD from that incident, though, because I kept looking at that Webb card throughout the game, and I was like, how did that not get ruined? I feel like it's ruined, but it's not. So it lucked out. Vitello signed for us. He was cool. No complaints. When you start off that hot for the day, it really makes a big difference in your mood.
Yeah, most definitely. Let's see. I think the first guy I got was Eric Haas, too. I think he was the first guy, and then I kind of feel like Webb was the next guy we got, but Henches might have been later, but I it's hard to remember the order, but I know that Webb and Vitello were back to back. But yeah, we got Sam Henches. Did you get we both got Trevor McDonald.
We did. He was nice too. He signed for everybody.
Yeah, definitely. I got Dylan Smith and JT Brubaker also, which was cool. And then I did get at some point in there, I got Wilkin Ramos, who's like a rookie pitcher with the Giants. He's not he's bounced around a couple teams already, but he's like 6'6", 6'7" or something. He's like really 6'7". He's really really like a tall, gangly guy. He looks like Miguel. What was that guy's name? Miguel Reyes.
Miguel Castro.
Miguel Castro. Yeah, he looks like that guy, and he kind of looks like he's going to be good. But he had come up for a cup of coffee with the Giants, and I had. This is one guy who they called up while I was on my trip, so I didn't get a chance to make a custom of his. Then I'm like, man, I just need to. I'm going to miss him, whatever. I had a little bit of time after I got back into town, so I made a custom of him. I printed it Friday morning. I made it. I cut it out in my car, that's a whole process now with my new customs. So I got it ready for batting practice, which I was happy about. Then I'm standing in line, and I see that they sent him down to the minors. And I was like, motherfucker, that, I went through all that just to not have a shot at him. And then he was on the field, so I was like, cool, he's there. I called for him, and he kind of gave me wait, hold on 1 minute. And I was like, yeah, cool. And then he ended up talking with Jesse Chavez and another bullpen coach or something, a Latin bullpen coach. And I think they were talking to him hey, sorry, we're sending you down. Whatever, just I'm sure they gave him a pep talk or whatever. And then he came over, he signed for a bunch of kids in one section, but then he came over to me and he signed, and I got him on this custom. I said to him hey man, you'll be back, and he's nodded yes and stuff. So I don't know, it was kind of a cool moment, I guess. I don't know if he wants to be hearing from me about that he'll be back in the majors, but it was kind of a real moment for this kid, because he probably went back into the clubhouse and got his stuff, and then got in an Uber and went to the airport or something. So during the game. So because he wasn't there afterwards. So
no.
So yeah, as Dynamite would say, Dynamite probably thought that he was starting on Saturday. But yeah, because he left in the second inning probably. But yeah, so it was a cool moment with him, and I'm gonna be rooting for that kid now. And he has no professional autographs available on eBay. I was gonna maybe buy one just to kind of as a companion piece to the one I got in person, but he doesn't even have any available. So yeah, so I don't know. I'll be following that kid, and hopefully he makes it back up and has a good career. But yeah, and then yeah, I mean that was it for BP, but that was a lot of guys.
It was a lot of guys. We should say it wasn't all success. We did make Chavez pretty early on, but there just wasn't a good time to call for him because he was doing a lot of work. And then when he finally did come in, he was carrying 2 duffel bags. And we like called for him, but he just kind of smiled to us and nodded and walked back in because he didn't want to drop his stuff. So that was unfortunate. We would end up not getting him. And I think he was both a top target for both of us. But, that aside, that was really the only disappointment. It's probably the best we've done pregame all year.
Yeah, absolutely. The Chavez thing was a bummer, but yeah, it was really good overall. I forget why, but we ended up going towards the infield.
Yep.
Maybe do you remember why we did that? I can't remember.
I think maybe there was a player who. Caleb Killian was signing.
Yeah, that's right. Caleb. Yeah, I remembered it right at the same time. So Caleb Killian was signing, who I got at Cubs convention before, or whatever, and also not the biggest fan of him anyway. But
yeah.
He was signing for a bunch of kids, and then Dennis, of course, was squatted down right under the net
as
to
he
get
always
him.
is.
Yeah, and so Jack, we said this beforehand, but there's becoming a turf war kind of with Dennis, just after that Astros series where Dennis got all these guys that we didn't get.
Yes.
We've just been talking about it, and it's okay, the White Sox is Dennis's turf. He's fucking entrenched in that fucking catbird seat.
Yes.
And he just everything runs through him, graphing at the Wrigley Field. So, it's we're at way more games, and we've spent way more time at Wrigley than Dennis does, at least these days.
Yes.
And so, if we're staking our claim here, it's Wrigley Field is ours. And so, at least as far as Dennis goes, so it's I was kind of saying in text, I'm we gotta stop letting Dennis get the edge on us at Wrigley.
Yes.
Because it's just not cool. And so Dennis was this is kind of funny. I was thinking about this afterwards. So Dennis was implanted to get Killian, and I kind of rushed in there, and I kind of put my book, and I was next to him because he was all the way to the side. So I kind of got in there. And then as soon as Killian stopped signing for the kids, he walked away. And then we walked away, and then Dennis goes, he didn't want to sign for the adults. And and then I think you said that you saw him look at us and see that we were adults, and then just decide not to sign. Yeah, I think that I screwed Dennis on that autograph, and I'm sure he thinks that. I'm sure he thinks that too. But I think that if I didn't go there, he probably would have just got Dennis and then got out of there. But when I jumped in there, I think I ruined it for him, and I'm well, that's one way to kind of screw him, especially since I didn't need Killian. So yeah.
No, yeah, there you go. I think he felt your presence because, after you arrived, he looked up, and he didn't really look at you. I think maybe he saw you out of the corner of his eye, but he did look directly at me, and he had kind of a disgusted look on his face, and that was when he finished up with the kids and left. So, yeah, Jeremy, I'm fine with that. I can't remember if I got him or not. I'm going to have to look, but, regardless, it's at least you screwed Dennis out of that one. That's payback for the Astros series.
Yeah, just a small bit. So then after that happened, I think we kind of turned around and we're going to head to, our separate ways to get our scorecards, or in Dennis's case, his free soda.
Yep.
And we saw this kid who we've never seen before. No. And he kind of seems like a little bit of a ruffian. He's definitely kind of rough around the edges, and he talks like a little asshole kind of.
Yeah, he does.
And he was talking with this one kid. We have to maybe come up with a name for this kid. Of course he is a kid, but they were talking post game, and they were talking like they knew each other, but they didn't. And the other kid that we've seen before. We've seen him before, almost every series this year. And both at Wrigley and at White Sox, but he's not part of J.E.J. or Dennis's crew, so this kid is just a free agent. But but the kid who we saw, he was just, I don't know. He kind of looks like a bully or something, but like, he kind of had like mussed up hair and stuff. And, he goes to us and like, I think he was trying to like rub it in maybe, but he did say something afterwards, but, he goes like, oh, you guys, he saw us like by the infield, and then he sees, we turn around, we walk up, and he's like, oh, you guys missed Webb. Yep. And then, Dennis goes like, no, we didn't. We got him. And,
he said that. He said, no, we got him. And then Dennis looked at me and he went, we got him. But, it was funny. But yeah, after the game, so that kind of, I think it kind of pissed us all off, because it's like we didn't miss Webb, and what are you trying to do? Rub it in. So we saw that kid after the game with this other kid who was a free agent. And I wanted to say to the kid, like, hey man, a couple guys inside said you missed Webb. And then, just say it to him, just fuck with him, because we're adults, and like he wouldn't really be used to being messed with like that by adults. But yeah, ultimately it was too long of a day. I just decided not to. But yeah, so that was BS. I've also, Jeremy, these next two kids that we're going to talk about, I first became aware of them, I think it was during the A's series. I think you've seen them before. Dennis does not like these kids at all either, which he's made clear to me. I know he's made clear to you too. But yeah, I don't know if you want to describe these kids.
They're just like, they're brothers, and they're not, they're different ages. One's older than the other, but one is like, I think Josh's age. They're just like these short little kids, with like curly, like bushy curly hair. They look like the kids. I think their names are Ari and Aki from the Royal Tenenbaums. They're Ben Stiller's kids. Yeah. So if you put these two kids in, those kids are twins, I think maybe, but actually I'm not sure if they're twins or not. But if you put those kids in red Adidas jumpsuits, they look exactly like the kids from Royal Tenenbaums. So I'm like, maybe we can call them the Tenenbaum twins or the Tenenbaum kids or something. But they look like that. And like, so I first became aware of the older kid during the Astro series. I don't think I said this on the podcast, but on Getaway, I sold out for Nate Pearson that whole series because I was trying to get him on the no-hitter card. And the last day on and Getaway Day, I was in the front of the bus, normal spot, and Josh and this kid were behind me, and the kid showed up late, so Josh kind of like, they were both behind us. There was like a whole line of people in front of us. I think maybe Picture Book was there or something. But I said to Josh, I'm like, hey man, I might need you. I'm like, I might need your help getting Nate Pearson, because I don't think he's going to sign for me. And then that kid said to me, the Tenenbaum kid goes like, I'll get him for you. He's like, if you let me stand in your spot. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe we'll see when they come out or something. And like, I didn't give him a spot. And then he ended up like on the side, like later on during BP or during Getaway when the guys were coming out. And I ended up there too. And I had a shot at Pearson, and I called for him. He didn't stop. And then I just out of desperation yelled like, Nate, I need you on this no hitter card. And as I was saying it, that fucking kid goes like, I don't think he cares. And Pearson just walked by. And I'm like, you little shit, man. Like, screw you, dude. Like, what do you like, so I'm like, what would you know about any sort of like meaning about any of these autographs or sentimental value? I'm like, you don't know a no-hitter from a freaking 18-3 game. I was like, dude, this kid is like way out of pocket. And so like he was on my radar from that. And then like Josh is bringing him around now, and then they were in line, and Dennis told Josh he's like don't let him cut, don't let him cut, they're only here to cut like you or whatever. And so they showed up, and then Josh said like, you guys can't come up here though, you got to stay back there. And then also Dennis and Josh got Hunter Pence somehow, like standing right by that opening, and and Dennis told Josh, hey, don't tell him you got Hunter Pence. And so when that kid, the Tenenbaum kid, showed up, he's like, did you get anyone? And Josh was like, no. He's like, you didn't get anybody? He's like, no. no. It was just like, again, it was just surreal to watch like that whole dynamic. But yeah, this Tenenbaum kid, they were in the right field corner getting autographs with us, and I think that kid, the older Tenenbaum kid, was wearing Meta glasses, and I think Dennis was saying like, you can tell he sells. Look at his glasses. And, yeah, and so it's just like this kid is Josh has unleashed this kid into the ecosystem, and he's pissing everybody off basically.
Yeah. And Dennis told me this about these kids, and I don't, it's Dennis, so it's like it may be true, it may be completely false, but based on the behavior, I kind of believe it. But he said that those kids, like, their parents are millionaires, and that they, like, the dad bought them tickets to the 1914 club, like season tickets, and they're just going to be at every game. So, take that for what you will, but like, I guess those two kids are just like a couple spoiled rich kids, basically. So not exactly underdogs. There's the kid you're talking about, the older kid. He was at the A's series too, and Dennis and I were in the outfield. This was when we were trying to get Luis Medina. And the kid comes over and he asks, he's like, "Yeah, where's Kurtz? Is Kurtz out there?" And I wanted to turn to him and be like, "Hey man, like, Kurt's probably hitting the first group. He's in the clubhouse. He's not going to be in the outfield. He's not going to be shagging. He doesn't play outfield. There would be no reason for him to shag. So it's like, don't even, like, you're just wasting everybody's time by asking that question." So like, not only are these kids annoying, but they don't know what they're doing either.
Yeah, they don't. I would be very hard pressed to believe that they know anything about baseball other than like what. And I think Dennis also asserted that they sell, which I'm sure they do. So that why would they know anything about baseball? They just know enough to know who's worth getting, so they could sell them. So
right.
This kid sucks. I hope he lets the dog out or something and like gets grounded or something, and can't go in any more games, but we'll see. Right. I'm sure, or hopefully his family goes to like fucking Argentina for the summer or something, and he's not around. So anyway, he's annoying people.
He is. But anyway, like, all of the graphers parted ways, and so we got our scorecards, and then we got food as well. There was time to kill, because the game started in an hour rain delay, so it started at 2:20. We both got food. Jeremy, I got some nachos, and I came back to my seat and I showed them to you, and they looked perfect. I mean, they looked amazing, and I guess it was enough to sway you to also get the nachos. I think for the second straight game too, like that we've been together, you got the nachos. So we've talked about this before, but the nachos are kind of a Wrigley Field cheat code. Somehow the price is still under $10. It's like $9.90 or something for nachos, and it's a good deal because you get a lot of food, and the nachos are good. And like, I got an Italian sausage on Thursday night, and it was like over $14 just for the sausage. So it's like, I don't know why these nachos are still so cheap, but they are. But you made the comment, Jeremy, and I noticed this when I was getting mine, that they give you 3 scoops of cheese. So, folks, we all remember, longtime listeners remember the incident I had where I didn't get enough cheese on my nachos. And, that's a freaking tragedy for that not to happen, right? They put 2 little scoops of cheese on, and then the cheese doesn't get to the bottom nachos. So there's just like it's not good for anybody. So, they do 3 scoops of cheese. And you mentioned that perhaps they've gotten enough complaints about that now it's just part of their protocol, like their training, to do 3 scoops, which is enough, and we'll have cheese like floating at the bottom that you can dip the rest of your chips into. So I noticed that as well when I got my nachos, and I guess it makes me feel a little validated that I wasn't the only person that this probably happened to.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure that it feels like that is a reaction to like an issue, like a known issue. I know the old guy who apparently doesn't work there anymore, but he said, like, we drench them over here.
We drench our stuff, which I love.
Yeah. So this guy, so that now they all drench him, I guess, basically. Like, that guy probably had to like do like a tutorial about like, you know, how to drench nachos. But yeah, the guy that I got, so we got them from the lower deck because we're in the lower deck today. Normally we go to the upper deck, but we got it, from the lower deck, and it's nice to know that they also like are generous with their cheese and their peppers. The guy who I got, he gave me a bunch of cheese. He's like, "You want peppers?" And I'm like extra peppers, and he goes, extra peppers, and so then he like loaded me up with peppers, and it was like I almost like it was almost like a challenge to him, and so like there was a ton of pepper. There's basically like a pepper for every chip, so and then like I made the remark, I saw yours and then I saw mine, and like there's actually cheese and there was like peppers left at the bottom of the box when all the chips were gone. And so like that right there is a sign of a deal, because it's like when you go to a movie, like you're always running out of the cheese unless you're like very conservative with it. Peppers, you know, you can never get enough. And so like to have leftovers and not feel like you need to like scoop it out with your hand or something is like a win. So like, it really is the cheat code. And like, just from a monetary standpoint, I feel like I'm going to be incorporating these nachos a lot more into my routine.
Yeah, I just have a fear that next season, they're going to kick the price up about $2 or $3 just because they get popular. So, probably best kept a secret, but yeah, they're a win for right now.
You're starting to get like Dennis with the nachos and graphing.
Yeah,
like now everyone gets nachos.
Right. Right. Like it's like the hotel, right? Good point. Okay, so we sat down to enjoy our food. This older lady and what looked like probably her granddaughter were sitting right in front of us. And they were doing a buffer seat, which we were doing too, because at the start of the game, at least, there weren't many people there. Probably also because it was in a little bit of a rain delay. But anyway, the old lady asks me, she's like, "Hey, can you watch our stuff for a second while we go out?" And, I knew we were going to be in a rain delay, and you and I had kind of just settled in at that point after graphing for an hour. So I was like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll I'll be here. We'll watch your stuff." So, of course, they walk away and they're gone for 35 minutes, like, which is just way past the statute of limitations of watching someone's stuff.
Yeah, it was crazy. And like, it was, that's a legit time too. Like it was most of the rain delay. They were gone. It was an hour rain delay. And we had to like, and then it started raining like hard at one point, and we were kind of like in the right field corner. We were covered, but like there's like openings from the upper deck around us, and we were starting to get like misted with rain. And it was to the point where it's like, oh, let's move. But it's like we couldn't move because we told these people we would watch their bags. And so like, and I was saying like, if we leave to take shelter from the rain and leave their bags, we have to come back to these seats eventually. So they're going to be back there, and then they're going to be like, "Hey, why didn't you watch our stuff? You said you're going to watch our stuff." And so it was a whole thing. And it was just like, geez, like this is way more than we signed up for, basically.
It is. I think maybe next time this happens, because it will happen again inevitably, I might just ask, how long do you think you're going to take? I think it's a reasonable question, because because the same thing happened to me at CubsCon, I'm remembering now, and I think eventually that time I just bailed, which is also kind of funny because I wanted to get in line with you for Swanson.
Right.
But
that's right. That was with the guy that I had like talked to previously. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, but I think it's a reasonable question. So, just like I've learned the lesson of someone asking, "Can I borrow your marker?" And just the response being, "Well, if someone comes over here to sign, yes, I'll let the guy use your marker." I think that's a reasonable response. Or no is also a reasonable response that I've gone with a few times. But I think just asking about the time is that's I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's like, "Hey, I got you for 10. I got you for 10 minutes. After that, it's a free for all." So it's crazy, but but yeah. So all right. So the game finally started, and we were, I think for a little bit, we were kind of like in a good position, like with some room around us. But I don't know what inning it was, but this fucking group of people, this like 20 somethings showed up and were just god awful annoying. There was like, I don't even know how many. There was like at least 4 guys and 4 girls. I think it was more than that. I almost want to say it was like 5 guys and 6 girls or something. And like, it wasn't really clear like who had what seats or who was where. Like, some girls came into our row and sat next to you, and like they asked if anyone was sitting in those seats, and no one was. So they were joining their friends in the row behind us, but they were turned around talking to them the whole time. So that was, I'm sure, annoying. There was guys behind us, and there was one guy behind me who just had like the most bellowy, like, annoying voice. It was annoying anyway because he was being so loud and talking in my ear, but like it was deep like this, and it was dark, and like, you know, it wasn't like caricature-y, but it was like I can't do it because I can't, like, it's like it was resonating from his skull. Like, it was so like bellowy. It was like, oh, hey, what are you doing? What are you gonna do? Oh yeah,
you know the way sort of the tenor that Chris Collinsworth, the football announcer, has with his voice. It was almost sort of like that, you know, where it's just got like this really annoying register to it. It to me, and we were sitting in slightly different places. Like, that was kind of how it sounded to me, where it was like it was this specific tenor where, like you kind of said, are implying with the impression, like he had something caught in his throat. But at the same time, you know, he was able to project like an opera actor. It was awful, and he was just talking about bullshit. And it was just at one point, because then all of them were talking, and I just turned to you and I said, "This is cacophony. Like, it's terrible. We can't even hear ourselves talk or think because of these people around us. It was really bad. But this guy was the big culprit, and yeah, he kept talking about his dad.
Yeah, just talking about his dad. He's like, "Oh yeah, my dad is season tickets. He's right down there." He's like, "My dad, he's 2 rows away from there." And like, but this is like a grown ass man trying to talk like he's like some kind of like mover and shaker.
Yeah.
And just like, "Oh yeah, hey, we were at the bar last night. Oh yeah, pretty cool. Oh yeah, well, I got this, I'm going to that. Oh, you know, Ian Happ, you know, you can't be your left fielder. He strikes out too much." And then in between there, he's like, "Yeah, my dad, you know, went to the game in 1976, and he was, you know, thought it was pretty cool. And my dad, you know, it's his favorite players, blah blah blah. And my dad says this, and I'm like, shut up about your dad, dude. Like,
yeah.
Who what are you, a freaking baby? You're talking about your dad all this time?" And like, at one point, like the friend goes like, what did he said, like, Peach Bowl champion, which, like, okay, so his dad was in the Peach Bowl or something. Like, I'm like, well, then why is he sitting in the 300 section? Like, but like, yeah. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go talk to my dad for a little bit." And he like got up and went down like 6 rows, and like his dad was like, yeah, in like the second or third row. And he sat with him for a little bit, so we at least got a reprieve from that idiot's voice. But I'm like, dude, what are you talking about your dad so much? Like, are you a baby, or are you a man who like has like this bellowy voice? Like, so I was just annoyed with him anyway. But it's like, was definitely talking about his dad more than I would have bargained.
You know what my favorite moment of that whole thing was is when at one point the guy made an offhand comment where he said, "Yeah, this is only like my 3rd Cubs game of the year," and you turned to me and you whispered and you said, "I guess Dad didn't take you enough."
Yeah, right.
There you go. Right, that was a good one. So yeah, I enjoyed that. But yeah, those people sucked, and it was another instance of so yeah, the game was a blowout, and most people left early, including them. I think they left after the 7th inning stretch, and it was one of those things where it's like once they were gone, it's just like the sun coming out after a cloudy day. It's like you can't you can't even describe what a difference it makes when they're gone and the impact it had on your experience.
Yeah, I mean, in some masochistic sort of way, it's almost the relief of them leaving is almost like, hey, you'll endure this for like 7 innings, but when they leave, you're going to feel so good that it might be worth it. So like, you know, consider your options here or something. But like, so it's like a breath of fresh air, like being like submerged in the ocean, and then you come up for air, and it's like, oh my God.
Yes.
I can breathe. I can like think. I can hear myself. So yeah, it's just super annoying. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to not get, there's a lot to be annoyed by, and I'm trying to not be annoyed by all this stuff, but you just can't help it. You can't get away from it. And it's like,
No.
it's just part of the Cubs being competitive, although they're not. That's the other thing, is like these people aren't stopping coming to games. God damn it! Like the Cubs are losing, and like these people are still not showing up. We're paying like through the nose for tickets, and yeah, it's annoying, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, for sure, and certainly like with everybody showing up, it doesn't help the Cubs like make any changes maybe that they would need to make. Of course, they did sign Bregman, but yeah, that's neither here nor there. So we during that segment on the scoreboard where people can post messages like "Happy Birthday, Juju." What was that? Was that actually what it was? There you go.
I think it was. I think it was Juju.
Yeah. So this is from last week. This is a continuation. This is another one. So since they stopped doing the AI art, maybe we'll just have to start pointing these things out. But yeah, there was somebody bought a thing that said all it said was "Dennis, you're the best," and we just saw that and we said, you know what? No way is that our Dennis. Like not a single person would write that about him.
No, you couldn't help but chuckle at just seeing that, and then like, just imagining that being about our Dennis. Just no one would ever say that. So, yeah, just funny. I think that's when I started writing notes, because I'm like, I got to remember the exact wording of that. But yeah, Dennis, you're the best.
Yeah. Simple, but yeah, effective. Yeah. Also, game was 18-3, which meant there were a couple of really long innings, which means that your scorecard is going to be a mess if you're someone that keeps score. So what I usually do when a team bats around and they're on their 10th, 11th hitter and a guy's getting his second at bat of the inning, I'll write the result in the next inning and then draw an arrow over to the inning before. What approach do you usually take, Jeremy?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I put it in the next innings box, and then I try to draw like a dark line from like the inning going into the next inning, or like like an outline creeping into the in the fourth inning, I crept into the fifth inning box score, whatever squares, and I put like a little slash line after the last out of each inning, just to kind of like signify what when that column is over. And so I'll do that. Yeah, it's really just kind of like spatial drawing between like the columns and stuff, and I'm looking at it and it's ugly to see. It's just very ugly to see. Yeah, so 6 runs in the fourth, 7 runs in the sixth. They even scored one in the fifth as well. So those from the fourth to the seventh inning in my scorecard is just a mess. And in the sixth inning, they batted around, and it stretched from the seventh hitter to the second hitter. So like even that is not like a clean break. So it's just a mess. And like if you're keeping score, you're probably a little persnickety anyway. And so just to have your scorecard like that is just like it's like anxiety inducing.
No, it is. So yeah, it wasn't pretty. A lot of substitutions too. I'd say every single player on the bench got used. A lot of position changes as well, and a lot of pitching changes too for the Cubs. They would eventually go on to use Carson Kelly to pitch the top of the ninth. So yeah, never a good thing. So messy box score all around, messy game. But we got through it. So that was good. Wasn't too much drama getting down to the bus itself. I think that we were, aside from maybe those kids that we were talking about before, the You Missed Logan Webb kid, I think we were the first 2 down there. And yeah, Jeremy, the graphing started up at the usual time as guys started coming out. You got Buddy Kennedy. You made him right before he got on the bus, so that was good by you. He was like, he had 1 foot on the bus when you called Buddy, I think.
Yeah, it was that was a weird one because so that one, and he wasn't the first one on the out, but like
no.
We were getting guys at that point, and like there was kind of like a dry spell, and then he came out, and he's a short guy. He might be like 5'9" or something.
Yeah.
And you know, we will like watch guys come down the concourse, like, so as far as we can see, like, and start to identify them. We'll try to be like, is this a player? Is this a personnel? Is this staff? Is this a fan? Whatever. Like,
Yep.
from about like, I don't know, like, I don't know, like 100 yards away. I don't know, like more than that. Like, you're starting to try to like identify these guys. Maybe not that far, but like, you're starting to identify these guys. And Buddy Kennedy was walking. And I'm like, yeah, I can't tell if that's a guy. And like you I think you said like, that's not a guy.
Yeah,
And,
it didn't look like it.
And no, and like, yeah, I mean, to your credit, like, he's not super skinny. He's short, and he just, if anything, he looks like one of the guys, like one of the like front office, like data cruncher and like number cruncher guys.
Yep.
And yeah, he walked by, and like, it's weird, man, like identifying these guys, because like, I'll be watching them. It's like, you know, the Terminator, like identifying them in their eyes. Like, there's like processing. Like, you're processing like who is this? You're running through like a million faces, headshots, and like names in your brain. And then like sometimes you don't make them until it's too late. Sometimes you make them like early enough. And this has happened to me a couple times too, where it's like, I'm like, who is it? I'm like, and like, I couldn't even say to you like, oh, that's Buddy Kennedy. I just go like, Buddy, like, and then he stopped and turned around and came over and he signed for me. But it was like, I wasn't on the page. Like, sometimes you identify the guy and you flip to the page. Like, I wasn't even ready for that. So he started coming over, and I had to say out loud, I'm like, you might have to give me a minute to find the card. And he was cool. Like, he was chill about it. And like, I found the card and got him and everything. But like, it was a total like desperation yell, and it worked out.
Oh yeah, he was freaking Jackson Churio about that one, baby. So that was a good. He was chill as hell. So that was good. That was a good one for you. We both got Hunter Pence. Pence is always very gettable. And why not, right? You know, you look up the guy's career stats. It's like, yeah, that's a guy I'll get as many times as I can on different cards. Good guy to get just because he's so accessible. We both got Jace Tingler, which was cool. So I think we both had a very similar card. We didn't have the exact same card, but we called for him when he came out, and he came right over to us. He was a nice guy. So he signed just for us, which is cool because there was a kid next to me who was holding up a ball and, like to get an autograph. But Tingler kind of just ignored him because, like, he probably figured this kid doesn't even know who he is. He signed for us. He was very particular about signing, though. Like, he made sure he gave us good autographs, and then he kind of awkwardly handed the pen, your marker, back to you, Jeremy, as if he'd never done it before.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he he kind of stuck it out to me, almost like he was like flipping it to me or something. It was weird. I forgot about that. But yeah, he was very, very calculated about his signature. And man, I had like a dark card of his. It's weird, like it's the same picture, or it's like slightly different picture, but like it was like taken like right after each other, I think. Like and yours has a little more of his pants showing, which are white. Mine, like, it's covered by like a facsimile autograph. And I was gonna actually ask him, I'm like, hey, can you sign up right over his like shoulder? There's like blue sky, and I'm like, I was gonna ask him if he could squeeze it into that little box, and I did kind of point at that, but I didn't have the nerve to ask him. And then he signed, and honestly, the card looks fine. It's also Jace Tingler. I don't need it to be like the best ever, but it's on there. It's fine. But he was so particular with it that I'm like, he probably would have squeezed it into that spot, and it probably would have like been fine. But
right.
But yeah.
Yeah. So that was a fun one to get. I'm glad that we got him. Bryce Eldridge came out, and so like I said, there were these kids next to me, and their parents were there too. And every single guy that came out, the dad was like, "Hey, can you sign for him? It's his birthday." Which probably isn't a lie, but also it's like, hey, I wouldn't mind seeing this kid's birth certificate, because it's like, I don't know, man. Yeah. He did have a brother with him though, so it's like I don't think the dad would lie about one kid without saying something about the other one. Anyway, so yeah, he yells it at Eldridge. He's like, "Hey, Bryce, can you come over to sign? It's his birthday." So Eldridge comes over. I didn't have anything for Eldridge just because he's a newer player and I don't do a lot of the Bowman. But I know he's in this year's Heritage product, I think. But anyway, he comes over to sign for the two kids. So he takes the bait, and he signs balls for these two kids next to me. And Jeremy, you had your book out, but I think we both telegraphed this. You know when a guy is just gonna sign for kids, and that was totally the vibe that Eldridge had.
Yeah, absolutely. He he was right there. He was like kind of like, I feel like he was maybe kind of taking it. He wasn't really rushing through it with these kids. Yep. And like, I think that's like part of the indicator. And he just signed for them, had my book right there. I said like, Bryce, one more. And he just like slinked right out of there. So it's becoming a little too common, which like I'm not too happy about. And I'm just like imagining like a day where that's like the predominant thing that players do in the league, and like, that might be the end of graphing for us. It's weird. I've observed this, I think about this a lot, and it's like it's like a bell curve with graphing. It's like, I think if you're really young and a little kid, you can definitely get autographs. And I think sometimes players will sign for like old guys too, like legitimately old guys, if they're trying to get an autograph. Like the Carlos or the Jose Quintana guy.
Yes.
Like he got that guy, and I think because he's an older guy, but it's like right in the middle there. And I even wonder if Dennis gets some guys just because they think he's just like an old timer and not a fucking shark that he is. I just we're in a bad part of that bell curve to get rejected. So if we keep doing this, we'll have to like wear it for a little bit, but then we'll get into the gray hair sympathy, I guess.
Yeah, I go something to look forward to, I suppose. No, but you're totally right though. But anyway, so no Eldridge this time. There was an old lady, so I guess on this topic, Devers and Jung-Hoo Lee came out, and they didn't do the bus, but they did like the exit that leads on to Addison and like Sheffield right there. So they went out one of the fan exits, and we weren't sure if they were gonna go to the Tom Brady card shop, which is right on Addison. We heard JEJ one time say that I think it was MJ Melendez. He's like, yeah, Melendez is gonna be at this card shop. So I think that is put in our mind now that like sometimes like players will go to this card shop after the game. Always possible, right? But anyway, Devers and Lee take this exit, and obviously they're two pretty big fish. So we at first did not follow them out. A bunch of other people who were trying to get autographs ran over to these guys. We didn't do it at first, and I don't even think I think we just doubled back when we saw how many people were chasing him. But this old lady who was behind us, she had a Giants jersey on. It was a home Giants jersey, and she was really squeezing us in. I don't know if you felt her presence, Jeremy, but like she was literally like 3 inches behind us, not respecting personal space at all.
No, just as a real quick aside, when she got Hunter Pence, I think it was, she like got right up to the gate in between us, and she like turned so he could sign like the back of her jersey, and she like turned her face was like pressed up against like my cheek. Like I couldn't like turn because she was pressed up against me, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like Jesus, like lady, like and like it was definitely within my personal space for that one.
So she was really boxing us in, so that was annoying me. So I had kind of tracked her before any of this went down, but she went over there to get those guys, and Devers ended up signing her jersey. So she did get Devers. She was probably only one of the only people who got him, and again, maybe he just did it because she was an old lady. She comes back over, and like she's showing it to people, and then the kid who told us that he thought we missed Webb, he's like, oh, you got Devers? And you could tell he was really jealous of that. And like, he did the Josh thing where like some guy signed and he wasn't there, and he started to panic because the guy signed and he missed him. And that was nice to see, Jeremy. I was happy about that. So good for this lady for getting Devers. And like, screw this kid. Like, I'm glad he didn't get him.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, right. So that kid was he was out there for exit, and he was completely blocking our view down the concourse to see guys. And like I was saying before, he had like kind of like longer just messy hair. Like he was just like this like unkempt like kid, and his hair was like the top of his hair on his head was like puffed up, like this one little like tuft of hair like on top of his head. And at some point, Jack, there was this like feather or something blowing through the air, and it got stuck in his hair, and I noticed that too, and I was kind of like chuckling to myself, because he was being an asshole to the free agent kid too. Like he was like kind of calling him dumb for some stuff, and I was like, this kid's a little asshole. So anything that happened to him, I was kind of okay with. But this kid was not only with his big head blocking my view, but this little tuft of hair on the top of his head was blocking like an additional like 6 inches on the top of his head. So I like had to like stand on my very tiptoes to see over this kid's head and to try to identify guys. So he was super annoying. I kind of forgot to mention that part of it until now, but we were dealing with that the whole time as well.
Yeah, no, that was BS, man. So I was tired of that kid real quick. I have a feeling we're gonna see him again. I think he's gonna resurface. He's just another one of these kids that's discovered this now. Yeah,
he was talking a lot about Milwaukee, so I was almost getting the impression that he like lived in Milwaukee, but maybe not. Maybe he just went up there to graph also. But like he was kind of talking, and he was definitely talking shit about the Cubs too. Like someone like said San Francisco sucks, and he's like 18-3, 18-3, and it's like, okay, kid. Like, so anyway,
I remember that too, and you know, nobody he doesn't need to be defending the Giants' honor. I don't think they care.
No. Like this kid doesn't even know past like the pandemic season. So So anyway, hopefully he's not a local, but we will see. But yeah, speaking of like, and you know, we might have to like call him out or something. I don't know. I'm hopefully we don't get into an altercation with a little kid. But there were some guys that we did have to call out who were a little older than this kid, so it was maybe a little easier. But we left the Giants last bus left. We walked over to the Cubs just to kind of see what was going on there. And should we? I think we should say should we say this first part, the last part, the next thing, whatever, like second, and say the thing with Dynamite first?
Yeah, sure. So I think that helps explain the context of everything that went on. So we haven't done the Cubs bus together in a minute, but we both I guess we decided we hadn't had enough, so we went over by the Cubs bus, and it was just these people left. And so I think the first thing we saw was that the kid had an autograph book. Not the kid. I mean, these guys were like in their early 20s, but there was an autograph book down there with like just a bunch of Nico Horner cards, and they were all signed. Like Nico obviously racked. And the first thing you said to me was, you said, "Well, I guess Nico still signs." So we asked these guys. We're like, "Hey, has anybody come out yet?" And they're like, "No, I don't think like anybody's come out. The only guys we saw were like, and they named like 2 guys. So they seemed to think that there were a bunch of people left, and it was an hour plus after the game, and so we were probably like, that might be bad information. So then we see Dynamite, who we had interacted with a little bit at the Giants bus, but he comes over to us and he's like, "Yeah, they're all gone, guys. Everybody left like 10 minutes after the game. The only guy who's left is Counsell. He's pumping iron. He's pissed." So we were like, okay. But that was also interesting on a couple things. First, like funny that Counsell is like lifting weights after a game because he's angry. But also like it's weird because we've never experienced this before, that like every single player for the Cubs was so pissed about this game that they just left right away. That's weird. Yeah. But Dynamite's not going to steer us wrong. Like that's good information. I think we can trust him. So and he was right ultimately, I think too. So yeah. Anyway, these guys, I guess these guys kind of entered the picture after that.
Yeah, they were lurking around, but yeah, and I should say too, Dynamite like sidled up right next to us. Like we were standing there, and I think he saw us from across the street. Yep. And he kind of like snuck up behind us, and he goes like, "Hey guys," and we're like, "Oh hey," and he's like, "They're all gone," and then he's like, "Yeah, Counsell, he except for counsel, he's pumping iron. Like the way he said that was just really funny.
It was.
And yeah, and so like I was laughing about that. And so he's like, "All right, guys, we'll see ya." And then he walks away, and then we kind of lingered anyway, just because like, I mean, I trust Dynamite on most things. He was wrong on a couple things, so there's still like a little doubt there because like, okay, well, Nico obviously stopped and signed for these guys next to us. We saw Thielbar leave on his own. We saw Miguel Amaya leave on his own. So, like, not everybody left 10 minutes after the game. And
No.
it begs a question, like, so that must mean they didn't shower? And I'm like, did counsel tell them to, like, get the fuck out of there or something? And was that, like, in anger or was it in, like, self-preservation? Like, I don't know, like, what... It was all very weird, and it wasn't ever reported on the in the news, like in the Chicago media. So I don't really know. Well, we'll never know. They won the next game and then ended up losing Sunday. But yeah. So anyway, that was just funny how that happened. We hung around anyway, and knowing that I didn't need Craig Counsell, I was kind of like, well, I'm not gonna call for him. They got their asses handed to him. Like, there's no way he feels like signing. And now Dynamite said he's pissed off and he's pumping iron. So, I don't know. It was maybe like 5 minutes after that happened, though, that Craig Counsell, like Ryan Flaherty comes out, and then Craig Counsell is pretty much right behind him.
Yep.
I think Flaherty might have been out for a minute because I think this happened. Counsell did come out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Flaherty. Okay, we'll just say it like this. Flaherty came out, and these guys were like, "Who's that?" And like, we were like, "That's Ryan Flaherty." And then the guy goes like, "Ryan!" Like, and like Flaherty is like, he's on the other side of the Cubs parking lot, basically.
Yeah, he's 50 yards away from us at least.
Yeah, he was well far beyond, like, well far away from us, and like. These guys just go, "Hey, Ryan," and like, and then this idiot guy goes like, "Oh, are you guys sure that's Ryan Flaherty? Because he didn't react at all when I yelled it." And then I'm like, of all the things I wanted to say to this guy, I just go like, I think we said like, "Yeah, that's him," and I'm like, "Yeah," and it's pretty poor form to yell at them halfway down the block, and then the kid goes like, "Oh yeah, it is," and like. I don't think he was being a smart ass about it, but he was just like, "Oh yeah," and I was like, "Yeah," and so then Counsell comes out like after that, but Flaherty was just like standing there. I think he was waiting for like an Uber or something.
Yeah, and Counsell and Flaherty interacted a little bit because Counsell saw Flaherty, I guess just to say bye to each other or something, and so I still need Counsell. I still haven't gotten his autograph, so I know Dynamite said he was pissed. I believe it. So Counsell was on his phone like the whole time, but he was coming over to us, and it was like a one-on-one type of situation if I wanted it to be. So Jeremy, you were like, "Yeah, well, I think you should call for him." So you said, like,
Jack, you said before that he was walking over and you said like he doesn't look that pissed, and which he didn't.
He didn't.
You took,
yeah. Yes, for these guys, it's just another day at work, So, you were like, "Yeah, I think you should call for him." So I was like, "Okay." So I started to cross the street, and he was on the phone, or at least he was pretending to be, but it seemed like he actually was. So I didn't want to interrupt him, but I do think because I yelled, Craig, do you have time for one?" And I was walking in his direction, and I had my marker up. I could have called louder, but I didn't. So it was kind of like meek. But still, I think he was aware of my presence, and he just ignored me. So, once again, didn't get Counsell. I don't know. Would you say that was how it, that was the situation, Jeremy?
Yeah, I wouldn't say for sure that he heard you because, like, he was on the phone, like, and I think you gave it like maybe like 50%, 45%.
I did.
And and I think that was probably appropriate. The other thing that's weird, it's weird to call these guys when there's no security or no barricade there because you don't want to like draw attention to them.
Yep.
And fuck the way that game went. If someone heard Counsell, like a mob could have like fucking tore him apart. So
yeah.
So yeah, it was. I think you handled it the best way you could, given the
Yeah.
situation that had like low percentage anyway. So,
Yep.
but yeah, it was true. He didn't look like pissed as Dynamite portrayed him to be. So
No.
yeah, it is what it is. We decided to part ways after that, and Jack. So I went down. I ended up walking by Ryan Flaherty on
yeah?
my way to my car, and Flaherty he was standing there for like a long time, just in the sun, just like looking into the distance. And Jack,
wow.
I had a funny moment that I didn't tell you about. Flaherty was like, it looked like he was talking, and I'm like, oh, he's on the phone, like he's got an AirPod in his ear or something. And I knew better, and I should have just nodded by him, if anything, and just walked on. But I walked by him, and like I saw that he was on the phone, so I'm like, he's not gonna hear me if I say something to him. But his good ear was towards me, like he only had, like I said, only one earbud in, and so I walked by him, and I go like, I'm like, hey Ryan, we just gotta flush this one, huh? And he looks at me, he like heard something, he looked at me, and then like I like was still I didn't stop, I just kept walking, and I go like, flush it, and he's like, hey, yeah. And like he just kind of like gave me like an acknowledging like head nod, and I was just like, fuck. I'm like, I shouldn't have, like, I flew too close to the sun there. So it was funny, and like yeah, I think that like I was riding so high on my total autographs for the day that I was like, why not? And then like it was rejected. So but it was funny. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That would be a good inscription if he would have ever remembered it,
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That's
So
funny.
yeah, so that was that. Yeah, I will say, yeah, overall, like just numbers, really good, Jack. I did a count. I ended up with 13 autographs, I think, from that game. So
Wow, that's nice. Yeah, I had 6. You obviously had a lot of guys that I didn't have, so I just didn't have cards for those guys. But yeah, it was a good score.
yeah, for sure. Like that's like minor league numbers there. So, and for the Giants, pretty good. So yeah, that was good. That being said, I do think that momentum took me through the whole weekend, because I was kind of like, you didn't need to go back Saturday, but I was kind of like up for it, but I'm like, let me live my life instead of doing that. But
Yeah.
Sunday the Cubs were playing Sunday Night Baseball on NBC. And not only was Rizzo there, but Bob Costas was there too, doing pregame. And so I'm like, I want to go and get Costas. Like, I'd like to get him. And so I went and made a custom of him, like real quick on Sunday, and or Saturday or Sunday. And I had the card, and I went down there, and I just couldn't find him. Like we were texting a lot, just like, where would he come out? Would he come out the normal spot where the announcers come out? Would he come out by the visitors? Would he go out a secret way? So there was just a lot of variables. So it was really just a shot in the dark. It was Sunday night. My wife was going to sleep anyway, so I'm just like, let me just go down there. I'm not like missing any like quality time with my wife to do this. So let me go down there. And I just ended up never even seeing him. I saw everybody else. I saw Benetti. I saw Deshays. I even saw like Coomer, Hughes, and Boog, but no Bob Costas. So that's a bummer. I do think he signs through the mail. So now that I have this custom, I might just send him one. And if I don't get it back, no big loss. But yeah, it was fruitless. And then also like the Giants getaway was like, there was a security guard right by like the good spot, so like I couldn't go over there. So it was a total loss. The only thing that came from it was a little bit of like recon, a little information, security guard information, which is like a little bit of an update on a season for us. We're already into June here. We haven't seen flotation tank yet this whole season, and I think we talked about it on the podcast already. Dynamite has kind of taken his place as like the like next in line behind Nick, who Nick hasn't really been around there too much either. No. But I was walking by the Cubs building, and I saw flotation tank. So I'm like, hey, what's up, man? And we like fist bumped or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, man, I was wondering where you were. And he's like, I'm working overnights. And I'm like, oh, okay, gotcha. And he's like, but I'll be back. I'll be back, like July or something. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, cool, man. All right, cool. And I said, yeah, man, I was going to ask about you. And he's like, oh, yeah. And then, like, it was kind of weird because I'm like, I didn't ask about him. And he was like, oh, this guy asked about me. But wait, he didn't ask about me.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, cool, man. Well, I'll see you. And then, like, I just, like, we just parted ways. But, so yeah, it was completely non-eventful other than to get, like, this information, like, that flotation tank was there. And, like, geez, man, the guy has to, like, work Cubs security, like, overnight. So he's just out there, like, all night long, which is a bummer. But
it is, man. Yeah, so hopefully we get him back. Now that it seems like adult stupidity has been 86th, we need some of our favorites back there on the security team. So here's hoping flotation tank gets another shot at the big time.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what he did to get potentially demoted to overnights, but
no.
Yeah, and then maybe he can hook it up. I wonder if he still gets his tickets.
Yeah.
But yeah, if he can hook it up at one point in the season, like these tickets aren't getting any cheaper. So yeah.
No.
But yeah, that'll do it for this episode. Good graphing, bad results for the Cubs. We are going, a team that eluded us for many, many years, the Atlanta Braves. We have tickets in hand. I don't know if there's rain in the forecast, but
I don't think there is. Tomorrow looks good. Wednesday and Thursday do not. So I think we're gonna be okay.
Yeah, so we have tickets to see the Braves at the White Sox tomorrow as of this recording. While it's released, it will have already gone, hopefully. So that'll be the next episode. And I think, man, tickets are getting expensive. Even these White Sox tickets were a little more than I care to pay. But so we're going to keep bringing you definitely graphing action and hopefully as much game action as our wallets can afford, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, absolutely, Jeremy. But I think that's going to do it for this one. So yeah, next week we'll be back on the South Side. So looking forward to that. So for Rain Delay Theater this week, I'm Jack Swakowski.
And I'm Jeremy Dionisio.
And we'll see you next time.